Hold up. Wait a minute.
This is Carla Renata, aka the Curvy Critic, and I shoot straight from the hip.
Yeah, you know I'm always shooting straight from the hip.
Let's take a trip around the curve. Hey everybody. Hey. How you doing? This tab is using your camera microphone. Okay. StreamYard is giving me messages, y'all. Oh, okay. I see you. Um, what's happening? It is Monday, March 2nd. Hey, hi everybody. How you doing? March 2nd, and I got some things to say. So it's been a busy week. We're in the middle of award season. Some things are going on, baby. Wanda Sykes is getting serious. Center's got people in a chokehold. It's all the things have been going down. So let's just get right on into it, shall we? I usually start out with what I did the week before. Give me a big thumbs up to let me know that you were here, whether it's in real time or after the fact. I'm Carla Renata, and you have tuned into the Curvy Critic with Carla Renata. So this is what I was into last week. I went to yesterday the AFCA Achievement Awards, where we honored those four lovely ladies from left to right: Nina Shaw, Michelle Satter from Sundance, Nicole from AMC, and Lori from CAA. Beautiful, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful women. And they gave a special award to the gentleman of Sony Pictures Classics. It was hosted by AFCA co-founder Gil Robertson and Jill Monroe, and Ava DuVernay presented the award to Michelle Satter. For this episode of the Curvy Critic with Carla Renata, I am getting into an interview with Ugo Bienvenu, who is the director of the animated film ARCO, which is nominated for an Academy Award. We're going to talk a little bit about Hoppers. We're going to talk about that post-BAFTA drama, honey. And we're going to talk about and we're going to talk about Wanda Sykes' new movie, Undercard. But we're also going to do a little recap of briefly of the ACTOR Awards. All right, so last week I was up to this Oscar talk that I do every year for Emerson College. It's at Emerson College here in Hollywood, and it is an Oscar talk and a reception. This year is for Emerson College alumni and the students, and they also honored Janice Payne, who was the president of Emerson College, who's no longer with us, and they honored her in a reception prior to. But the panel that I did was Oscar Talk, where we talked about the predictions for all of the major awards. And on that it was moderated by Owen Egan, who is one of the professors at Emerson College in the Boston area. But I was joined on that panel by Tim Payne, who is the vice president of the Golden Globes organization, and Jamie Philibreck, who is over at Movie Phone. So I did that. Then I hopped on over to the NAACP. I told y'all about this last week. It was a Hollywood Bureau reception and symposium, and I did the panel on Black-owned production companies shaping the industry with Lynette Ramirez, Aaron Edmonds, Kaylin Hunt, Lenora Addison, and more. And these are all people who run Black-owned businesses that are owned by Keke Palmer, Courtney Vance, Angela Bassett, Kevin Hart, and Anika, who runs the Anika Robinson, I think is her last name, who runs the Obama organization Higher Ground. So I did that, and then here's a picture from that. Yay! There's a better picture of it. So that's all of them. Anika McLaren, not Robinson. Why was I saying Robinson? I don't know. Something wrong with me. Anywho, there's that. So let's talk about, that's what I was up to last week. I did the NAACP panel. I covered the awards. We're going to get into the awards. I talked about the AFCA Achievement Awards. We're going to talk about those PGAs. But before we do, let's get into these NAACP awards, baby, where Michael B. Jordan took home count them, two, for Best Actor in a Motion Picture and for Sinners. And if I'm being completely honest, Sinners kind of had us in a chokehold last week, y'all, because that film not only, let me come back here and show the picture. Sinners now had us in a chokehold because it took home best ensemble and best actor in a motion picture at the actor awards last night, and then I showed you what they took home for Michael B. Jordan. I was so excited, but what all of this means is that the battle between Sinners and one battle after another just heated up. Jessie Buckley is still in the running for best actress in a motion picture. She has won unanimously across all platforms, so it would be a real shocker if she didn't win. But what it did to this Oscars race is it put it in disarray, because over the weekend they had Amy Madigan won the Actors Award. She won another award in the Best Supporting category. Tiana Taylor won the Globes, and Wumi Masaku won the BAFTA. So it's all over the place. Up until last night, Timothy Chalamet had won twice, and then Stellan Skarsgård won, and now Michael B. Jordan won. So, child, we don't know who's gonna win that category. And in the Best Supporting category, Sean Penn keeps coming up. The last couple of awards, the BAFTA, and this in the Actor Awards, Sean Penn won. But up until then, it was Jacob Elordi, and then it was Delroy Lindo. So that race is all in disarray. We don't know how that's going to go down. I'm so excited. This is the part of the year where it gets really exciting. So that's the Actor Awards. And then, of course, next week, we have the Oscars on March 15th, Sunday, March 15th. And your girl is covering it for a major outlet. I can't say who just yet, but to stay tuned, because your girl is doing some things. Just saying. And I just have to give a shout out to my boy, Sterling K. Brown. He won at the NAACP. Yeah, he won at the NAACP Awards, and he thanked his wife and all the Black women, including his mom, who is holding it down and trying to make her way through ALS. We're sending you much love and prayers and hugs and kisses, Sterling and Ryan. And Sterling makes me laugh because Sterling got up at that podium. He's like, I want to thank all the Black women because y'all be holding my boy down. And yes, we do. We be holding you down because we know nobody else gonna do it but us, for us. And there's that. So let's talk about I think I got everything and everybody. So I'm also gonna talk to Wanda Sykes today about a film that she's in called Undercard, where she plays a boxing manager. And it's really, really, really yummy. But I also wanted to tell you, I'll talk a little bit later about them PGA awards, honey, because Miss PGA has a lot going on. But I'm going to talk to Wanda and I'm going to talk to Ugo. Right now, I'm going to get into this conversation with Ugo Bienvenu. So Bienvenu is the director of ARCO. And I've talked about ARCO here ad nauseum. ARCO is a 10-year-old boy from a peaceful future who accidentally travels back in time to the year 2075. Discovering a world in peril, he bands together with a young girl and her robot caretaker as he sets out on a quest to return home. Now, be forewarned, Ugo was walking around Venice when we did this interview. Baby, it's award season. You don't know where people are going to be. And I just love the fact that he took some time out for me. So take a look and listen to this conversation with Ugo Bienvenu about ARCO. Your imagination is so vivid and so beautiful. Do you think that in making ARCO, it was like a banner of giving hope in a world that, because you spoke about where the world is right now, we're living in a world now that's full of so much despair and disappointment. Was it your hope to have ARCO be a little ray of light in the midst of all of that?
Yeah, because I began working on this movie because I felt like we were getting to live in a really bad science fiction movie in the 2019s. And then, and I said to myself, okay, as I think science fiction is responsible in a way of what we go through, maybe it's our turn as science fiction writers today to spread better things in the future. So we want them to happen, and then COVID happened and I felt the world getting really arch too, hard, and I needed tenderness. And I'm sorry, I was right. I didn't feel it would be better in a few years, when I started. And I said, okay, if I need tenderness now, I think I will need it even more in a few years. So let's do a hug for the people that will see that movie. And that became really the project of the movie. I was always thinking about this feeling being hugged.
I love that. A nice cinematic animation hug. I love
Mm.
that. That's such a beautiful way to look at your art. Oh,
Uh,
that's beautiful. Wow.
Thank you. And that's why also I wanted the November Ultra to finish the movie. It's because she has this feeling too, you know, when I hear her movie, I feel like I'm a small baby again. And, you know, it's, yeah.
You're such a special artist. You really are. What was it that made you want to take it from like 1 century to 2075? Because I was watching it and I was like, wow, 2075. It seems like a really long time from now.
It's nowadays. It's just, I just show nowadays with a little, and I make it a little bit bolder. I put it under steroids, so I put shapes and forms that are here, but embryos that are here, I just made them a little bit bigger, so I can ask questions about where we are going and do we really want to go there?
Mhm.
And yeah, yeah,
How
that's
close
my way of doing sci-fi.
how close is Arco to you?
And I think I'm really close to all the characters. I mean, I'm also super close to Iris. She's a drawer. She's the one that sees. She's the link between the world of tangibility, the world of, you know, the ground, and what's above, you know, what's in above us, what's bigger than us. And and also the three guys, they saw something that they shouldn't have seen when they were child, you know, and they are stuck into childhood. And now I say a lot that when I was a kid, I felt like nobody respected the adult that was in me. And now that I'm an adult, I feel like nobody respects my inner child. So I think all the characters are really, you know, related to me in a way.
I love that. That's very profound because when we are children, nobody does respect the adults as in us as
Mm.
a child and vice versa. That's very prolific. You're such a deep brother. You're so deep. I love that.
And also,
That
yeah, but also when people, you know, producers, they say, oh, the movies for the 8 years and a half people or the children, or, you know, and me, I always tell them, no, I'm sorry, we're not, children and adults are not different species. We are made of the same things. And I think and it's too easy to complain then, oh, the children or the new generation is stupid, because it's our job to feed them and to give them good spiritual food, you know. And if you just give them like poop, you it's too easy to complain. Then it's our job also to respect them, their intelligence. And honestly, I even yesterday I had like 2 or 3 4 years old children in the room, and they stayed until the end of the Q&A, and I was talking to them exactly like you today, and they were understanding it. And we have to really consider their cleverness and intelligence. They are clever, and most of the time they ask questions that are even more I don't know. Yeah, last time I had a little boy. He was 6 years old, and he said, "Why are people in it was here in America? Why are people in Arco's world more self-aligned than in Iris's world?" You know, he was 6 years old, and he asked me this, and I was like, "Wow, this is why I do this movie." You know.
yeah, children are very astute. They're very smart and they're very astute. They're not colored and tainted by what life throws on us as we get older, right? So they're
Yeah.
very they are vessels that are very, very open. And it's a shame that as we get older and life gets thrust upon us, that
Mm.
that life kind of taints us and gets in the way of us being open. So
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you last but not least, you know, we're moving into this world of AI. What are your thoughts about how AI and that technology is going to infiltrate animation moving forward?
And I think AI will be the first social breakup, like massive breakup in humanity, because AI is weakening, is shrinking our imagination and emotional muscle. And for example, GPS takes in a way decision for us. But if we stop slowly using our imagination, imagination is the mother of decision. So if we don't imagine anymore, we won't be able to decide anymore. So I think it's really dangerous for humanity, and I think nobody talks about it how we should be. And it's not about us and jobs disappearing. It's about our inner theater uh, uh, exploding. It's about and imagination. If you don't use imagination in your life, imagination is not just for creative people. Imagination is for everybody, and it's a superpower we all have, and it makes our life more beautiful. When we cook, we imagine. When we pee, we imagine. And even when we have sex, we imagine. And if we don't imagine in this situation, in all the situations in our life, it's 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 not beautiful, you know. Imagination makes life more beautiful, and I think that's why also there's a lot of youth suicide, you know, in France and in America, the young people suicide because imagination got weakened by social media, and now AI will be this disaster. So I think, to me, if we want youth now to resist and to be stronger, they will have to read books. They will have to, and it's not even now about mathematics, about coding, about we all should learn to our kids to read books, to imagine the world. It's the only way to save ourselves.
I love, in closing this out, I love that you brought your imagination and your humanity and your heart to ARCO. And that is why it has resonated with the masses and particularly with me in a very strong, visceral way. And you're right about the whole GPS thing. There's a whole bunch of people's phone numbers. I don't remember people's addresses. I don't remember anything. I just punch it in the phone. And you're right. That's what technology has done. It has dumbed us down a little bit. And we need to
Yeah.
try to get back to a place where we do infiltrate our imagination a little bit more, because imagination is endless. It's boundless. So having said
And
that,
yeah,
were you going to
and
say
also
something? I'm sorry.
yeah, also technology, technique has always been here to allow us to have more time to imagine the world, to dream the world, and imagine how to act on the world. But so imbecile means the one that doesn't use a stick. So a dumb guy means not using the technique, you know. But technique became technology, and technology does the opposite. She takes us from reality. She always sends us outside inputs, whether in fact what makes us imagine the world is inside input. So I really think we should be really careful about technology and always ask ourselves, what are we losing in order to of our humanity, in order to evolve and to go further. And if we lose more than what we gain, I think we shouldn't use it. It's basic.
You're right. It is basic. Ugo, I want to tell you what I told you when I met you. I think that this debut for you is massive. It's
Thank you so much.
beautiful. You're such a wonderfully profound human being. I'm so excited and elated for the success that you have had and that you will continue to have with your career. I can't wait to see what you
Hopefully.
do next. No, no, it ain't no hopefully. No, we're not gonna say hopefully. We're gonna say it's gonna happen. That's what we're gonna do on this call today. It's gonna
Thank
happen.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you
So
so much.
thank you. And I can't wait to see what you do next, because I know it's gonna be massive and profound, just like this one was. Thank you for taking time for me today on your
No,
walk through
thank you so
Venice. I
much.
appreciate
It was
it.
so great. Thank you.
You're
Have a good
welcome.
day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
I love Ugo because Ugo he gets so passionate when he's talking that um his brain is just kind of like and it's kind of just all over the place. But if you have not seen Arco, make your way to a theater to see it. It is a beautiful, beautiful movie. And when I saw it initially, I thought it was the most beautiful animation movie I'd seen ever in my life for a variety of reasons. Speaking of animation, we're going to hop on over, no pun intended, to Hoppers. Hoppers is a new film by Pixar, Disney, and I kind of loved this movie. I loved it so very much. So here's the culmination of it. Let me come back on screen so I can talk to you. You can see a sister. All right. So Hoppers is this film where, oh, I hate when I do this. I'm trying to expand the window and it just like it betrays me. I hate my computer so much. Okay. So it's a comedy adventure, and it's this animal lover named Mabel, who's voiced by Piper Curda, seizes an opportunity to use new technology to hop her consciousness into a lifelike robotic beaver and communicate directly with the animals. Did you catch that? So Mabel hops into a robot so that she can communicate with the animals. All right. So as she uncovers the mysteries in the animal world beyond anything she could have imagined, Mabel befriends a charismatic beaver, King George, voiced by Bobby Moynihan. Love me some Bobby Moynihan. And must rally the entire animal kingdom to face a major imminent human threat. Smooth talking local mayor Jerry Generazzo, voiced by John Hamm. The all-star voice ensemble includes Kathy Najimy, Dave Franco, and Meryl Streep. It's directed by Daniel Chong and is produced by Nicole Paradis Grindle with an original score by Mark Mothersbaugh. Let me tell you about this movie. It had me in the ugly cry. It truly had me in the ugly cry. And this is why. So when Mabel's grandmother passes away, it kind of hit me. And because I've experienced so much loss as in the last year, it hit me viscerally. When you have an elder that is like your bestie, and all of a sudden that big presence that looms large in your life is no longer there, it is a blow. But what isn't a blow is what they taught you and what they instilled in you in terms of your humanity and your spirit to fight for what you think is right. And that is exactly what Mabel does. And in the end, she ends up coming together with the mayor, and they see things eye to eye. Now, what was hilarious about this is Mabel would be talking after she jumped into the beaver, the robotic beaver, she would be talking, but what she thought the other person on the other end was hearing was not a human voice. It was just gibberish. And when they would cut back and forth to that, that made me holler out loud. It was really, really funny. I also learned a lot more about the nature and the animal life because, honey, I am not your nature girl. I'm not the one. I was the one that when I was a Girl Scout and they had the camping badge that you get, that literally was the only badge I didn't get with the camping badge. So if you just get an idea, that's what you're dealing with over here. I'm not trying to go camping. I'm not trying to be with no animals. I'm the one that in my neighborhood, if I see a skunk or a possum, I'm running the other way. Just saying. But Hoppers it is so delightful. It's such a beautiful film. I think Brandon popped in here and told me that he saw Hoppers last Saturday early, and he said it's one of the best Pixar movies that Pixar has ever done since Turning Red. And I am inclined to agree with you, Brandon. I loved me some Hoppers. It will be coming. Let me find when it's coming. Oh, it's in theaters. It's in theaters right now. So you can go see it. It's in theaters right now. It is a really lovely family-friendly film. It says a lot about technology and how we may be going in that direction, which is also quite interesting. Pixar is always on the edge when it comes to melting real life with the animation life. And so for all those reasons, I loved Hopper. I wanted to tune you into a film that I saw that is going to be on Nat Geo and Disney Plus. I know that elephant looks weird, but let me tell you why. It's a ghost elephant. And this is going to be streaming on Nat Geo on March 7th and Disney Plus and Hulu on March 8th. Now, this documentary is set in the mist-covered highlands of Angola, deep within the forest. The film follows National Geographic explorer and conservation biologist Steve Boyes on a quest to prove the existence of the elusive ghost elephants of Lisama, potential living descendants of the large land mammal ever recorded, long believed to exist only in myth. And to find them, the Boyes and Nat Geo explorer Curlin Costa team up with 3 Khoisan master trackers, and they rely on ancient tracking knowledge to succeed where modern technology has failed. It is fascinating. And Nat Geo is always good for a good documentary. And they have another one that's coming up at the end of March about bees. I want to say The Secret Life of Bees, and I know that's not what the name of the movie is. But every time I think bees and I think secret, I just think The Secret Life of Bees. But they have a documentary about bees that's coming at the end of March. Thank goodness it'll be after the Oscar stuff is over. But for right now, check out Ghost Elephants on March 7th, which is toward the end of this week when it hits Disney. When it hits Nat Geo, and then on March 8th when it hits Disney Plus and Hulu. So that's that. I also wanted to tell you guys about, what else did I want to tell you? Oh, the PGA Awards. I want to tell you about the PGA Awards. So the PGA Awards also happened this weekend, and it threw a wrench into things. Oops, let me see. There we go. It threw a wrench into things because the Paul Thomas Anderson won for one battle after another. Now that's not Paul Thomas Anderson, that's Stephanie Elaine who hosted the event. But what I will say about this is that usually history has proven that whoever wins the Producers Award usually takes home the award for best director, possibly best picture. But Baby Sinners this last weekend has proven to be a real threat for one battle after another. And the Oscar voting has not stopped. They got 3 more days to vote. On Thursday, they voting is done, and then they'll have to, get into it. But yeah, I wanted to tell you about that. I also wanted to tell you about this film. I remember talking about this film last year at the Telluride at the Toronto Film Festival. It was called K-Pops. It stars Anderson .Paak, and it's Anderson plays BJ. He's like a washed up musician, and he's trying to revive his career by joining a K-pop music competition, house band in Seoul, Korea. And what he discovers is that one of the contestants turns out to be his long lost son, and he inadvertently, of course, tried to capitalize on the little boy's fame. But I would say that this is a father-son story that is about reconnection through music, and that's what makes it a beautiful film to watch. It is in theaters right now. It's called K-Pops. K-P-O-P-S exclamation point, K-Pops. Now let's get into Miss Wanda Sykes. We know that Miss Wanda is known for being a comedian. She's known for making people laugh, making us tee-hee, holler, all the things. She's been hosting and everything else. But this time, Miss Wanda is playing something serious. She's playing Cheryl No Mercy Stewart, a 2-time former boxing champion and recovering alcoholic who reaches out to the 21-year-old she abandoned, and she is met with deep-seated resentment from Keith, who was her son. Now, Keith is a naturally gifted fighter. He relies on raw talent, but without discipline or focus, he cannot reach the top. And after a devastating loss caused by his gambling addicted trainer, Keith loses direction in his career, and his confidence takes a hit. Cheryl not only sees a chance to not only save her son's career, but reclaim the family she lost. With everything on the line, mother and son enter an uneasy partnership, balancing ambition, forgiveness, and the price of a second chance. All right. So in this film, also, let me come back on camera. Also in this film is Rosalind Sanchez. A lot of you may be familiar with Rosalind Sanchez from the franchise with Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker. You may be familiar with her hosting, and another generation is familiar with her hosting New Year's Rockin' Eve with Ryan Seacrest from Puerto Rico, where she is from. But she has a nice little role in this. William Stanford Davis is in it. Y'all know him from Abbott Elementary. And of course, it is cast by the fantabulous Kim Coleman. So without further ado, I spoke with the director and co-writer Tamika Miller and Wanda Sykes about her role in Undercard. What is it about boxing that made you create this story? And Miss Wanda, what is it about boxing that drew you to this story? And I'll start with Tamika first.
Well, this was a story that was born over 10 years ago. And there was a time in my life when I was a bit obsessed with boxing as a workout. And I worked out at Wildcard Boxing Gym, which is in Los Angeles, California, which is a notable boxing club. And during that time, I got to know a lot of these former champions, former boxers, as well as some boxers that were coming up. And they had some amazing stories. I couldn't make this stuff up, and these were all mostly men who were all trying to come up out of their circumstances, and just interesting characters. And it dawned on me that I had never seen a story quite like mine. I never seen a story about a woman boxing trainer training a man to a world championship title potentially. And so that intrigued me. And so I set out to co-write this story with my writing partner, Anita Cal, and here we are.
I've loved boxing since I was a kid. I remember listening to fights on the radio. That's how old I am. I remember when
I'm right there with you, girl.
Yeah, while he was Cassius Clay, I would, we would listen to those fights. Um, so I was always a fan. And when Tamika, approached me to do this film, of course, first thing I asked her was, I said, "Did Queen Latifah say no?" And Niecy Nash is busy. What happened?
No, she wanted you.
She wanted me, right? And as soon as I said, "Okay, yeah, let's give it a shot," then she was like, "Meet me at Wild Card Gym Saturday morning." I'm like,
You're like,
I'm like, I didn't sign anything. There's no paperwork. You ain't talking. Nobody's talked to my agents. Nothing. But she wanted to immerse me into that environment like day one. And I stayed with it. I mean, it took us a long time to get this film made, but I started training, and like Mika, I quickly got hooked, and I still train now. I just love boxing. Yeah.
I was about to ask you, are you still doing it? I'm glad to hear you're still doing it. Baby, the closest I got to boxing was Taibo. That was it. Me and Billy Blanks, honey, we was besties on a video screen. I'm just saying. That was about it. Wanda, this performance is so vulnerable and it's so very powerful. And as I'm watching Cheryl, No Mercy, I think about that old adage, if it weren't for bad luck, you wouldn't have any luck at all. And I also think about the fact that Cheryl gives mercy to everybody but herself. And so I'm wondering if for you inhabiting that role and taking on that cloak of Cheryl No Mercy, if you as a mom, if that impacted you, taking on your first dramatic role and taking on a role where you are inhabiting someone who has mercy for everybody else but herself. She puts everybody else first except for her.
Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, as a mom, it's what we do, we have to make sure everyone is good in order for us to rest well and feel like, okay, this is our job. So with I guess being a mom, helped me with that, and to get into that place. But with Cheryl, like you said, it's not only she gives mercy to everyone else, and puts them first. But for her, it's not that, just not giving it to herself. It's also life isn't giving her that. It's like financially, she's struggling. She's so to me, it's like she doesn't feel like she deserves it. To me, it's like she's still carrying all that baggage around from what happened with her son, where she had to give him up at a young age. So I think it's that. It's like she doesn't forgive herself, and she doesn't think that she deserves mercy. But like you said, she gives it.
And I just want to close it out with one thing. It was not lost on me, the scene that you have with Keith where he recites the Serenity Prayer to you. And I think the Serenity Prayer being brought up in the confines of this story is super important because it speaks to every character that is being dealt with within the confines of this story. And I'm curious for both of you if the Serenity Prayer now has a different meaning for you on the other side of this project. And I'll keep it with you, Wanda, and then flip to you, Tamika.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I am a person of faith. I really lean on my relationship with God to basically for everything. So yeah, it's asking, God to just, if I can't get it done, to help give me the grace to understand it, give me, so yeah, I think it's a great prayer, and not just for recovering. It's for life. Beautiful that you brought this up, but the it was like close to our last day, or next to the last day of shooting, and it's the big fight scene at the end. And before we start filming, Bentley Green, who plays Keith, and Xavier, who plays Quick, it was they said, okay, wait a minute, before we start, can we all say a prayer?
Mm.
Though these are two young Black men, and they were like, let's say a prayer, and we held hands and said a prayer, and he led us in prayer before we start filming that day. So yeah, the ancestors, God, everybody
all,
was there.
all up in there.
I love it. Okay, I lied. I got one more question. Since you brought
Okay.
up ancestors, I know, Tamika, that you said that you named the characters in the movie after your ancestors.
Homage, acknowledgement of their presence. Cheryl, the character that Wanda plays, Cheryl was my best friend. Who I'd known for since I was 10 years old, who passed away from cancer during the post process of this film. So she never got to see the film, but her mother did, and Keith, ancestor, one of my favorite uncles, Janae, ancestor, Carrie Mae, my grandmother, who was my best friend growing up. So, yeah, an homage to those who came before me and those who I feel are very much with me.
So, in closing it, I want to say this to both of you, and I'm going to start with Tamika first. I love supporting women filmmakers, particularly women of color, because I feel like the spotlight is on the other people all the time and they're going to get all the things. But I love bringing light to women of color and particularly women filmmakers, because I think I want to see a world where it's not, when they refer to men, it's just a filmmaker. When they refer to a lady, it's a women filmmaker. I just want to see us navigating in a world where a filmmaker is just a filmmaker, sans gender, sans, pronouns, sans all of that. I just want you to be a filmmaker. And Miss Wanda, they may be calling Niecy Nash and Queen Latifah, but Boo Boo, you next. Because I'm just saying, you put your foot in that. You did. And anybody, you can ask
That's the
anybody that
ultimate
know me.
compliment right there. You put your foot in it.
Put your foot in it, honey. If I had a shoe, I'd throw it at the screen. What I want to, I say that to say that, when you're great, it's only a matter of time before you have the opportunity to prove that you're great. You know you're great. Everybody in your circle knows you're great, but now everybody else gonna find out too. And it's only a matter of time before your star rises even further than it already is, and that phone starts ringing off the hook like everybody else's phone is ringing off the hook. And last but not least, I went to the real HU. I had to say it.
Don't do that.
I had to say it. I can't talk to you without saying that.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Thank you so much, ladies, for your
Thank
time
you.
today.
Thank
It
you,
was my
Carla.
pleasure to speak to you, honestly.
Same here. Same here. Thank you, love.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
I love messing with Wanda Sykes because that's the only thing I can actually mess with her out on, is the fact that she went to Hampton and moi went to the real HU, Howard University. Anyway, anybody that knows me, I'd be like, I'm down hard for Howard University. Anywho, Undercard, y'all. Check it out when you get an opportunity. It is in theaters later on this week. It is a wonderful, wonderful film. Wanda's doing some exemplary work in it, and you don't want to miss it. So again, let me recap for you. Oh, before I recap, I just want to say this. Let me show them a picture of my people from Sinners. That is them when they all got the NAACP. From right to left, there's Miles, Ryan, Zinzi, Michael, Ludwig is back there in the back. Sev is in front of him, Jamie and Wumi. And then here they are when they got the NAACP award. I love that. I love that. I love all of that for them. So anyway, I digress. Go see Hoppers. It's in theaters right now. It is such a great film. The score is absolutely fantabulous. You can always see all of the reviews that I do here at the scroll on the bottom at www.thecurvyfilmcritic.com. And you can also see my reviews over at RottenTomatoes.com as well. All righty. So go see Hoppers and go see Undercard with Miss Wanda. And then next week, when I come back, we are going to be talking about them Oscars. We're going to do a breakdown of the Oscars with possibly a special guest. I can't say who it is, but just in case it falls through the cracks. But I may have a special guest. All right. So go see K-Pops. Go see Ghost Elephants when it hits Nat Geo later on this week, and Undercard and Hoppers. That's it for this edition of the Curvy Critic with Carla Renata. Thank you so much for tuning in and joining me. I love when y'all pop through and say hello to a sister and that you talk to me sometimes in real time. Had I been here an hour ago, you probably would have talked to me a little bit more in real time. But I got me some what? I just had to show you. Some Girl Scout cookies. I'm about to tear these bad boys up. Anyway. Thank you so much for joining me. I will be back. Wait, will I be back next week? Let me see. Will I or won't I? Let's look at the calendar, shall we? I will be back next week. It's the week of the 15th that I won't be here because I will be doing the Oscars. So I got to get a dress and all the things, honey. I'm like, get this hair together. Ooh, it's a situation. Anywho. Thank you so much for joining me. Love, peace, and hair grease until the next time. And deuces.
Hold up. Wait a minute. I wish you love, peace, and hair grease. Love,